All right, let's get to the NBA Finals because it's Pacers-Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't know if it's as much of a nightmare for the NBA as everyone's making it out to be, but it does lack star power. It does lack big markets. As it pertains to being Milwaukee Bucks fans, does it give you hope that this Bucks team is not as far away as maybe previously thought, given that we end up with now? That's not to take anything away from Oklahoma City, who I don't think people understand from wire to wire has been the best team in the NBA this season, but doesn't have your bona fide stars, right? It has one. It has SGA, who I still think probably from a star power standpoint is one of the weakest MVP stars we've had in a while. That doesn't take away from his greatness as a player. But beyond him, like, Jalen Williams isn't a star. Chet Holmgren isn't a star. They built this thing organically through knowing what they want to do, putting the right pieces in place, and growing and developing as a team. The Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton isn't a superstar by any means. You could say maybe he's a star. He's an all-star caliber player. Pascal Siakam, same thing. But these teams don't feel like they're head and shoulders above where the Milwaukee Bucks are. I mean, Gabe, you've been in this market for a while. You've been paying attention to NBA for a while. Do you feel like now that this is the finals pairing, that makes you feel a little bit more hopeful for what the team can build around Giannis?
I do, but the one thing that these two teams have in common, that is, and I guess we'll have to wait and see if this is a trend, because how deep is your team? If you watch OKC play, like, they've got guys that they trust and are just good on both ends of the floor. Like, they're just, like you said, I mean, Jalen Williams is a really good player. He's not a star, but he's really good, and he fills his role perfectly. Same thing with Chet Holmgren and all the other guys that they have in the roster. And it's the same thing with Indiana. Like, they've got like 7 or 8 guys that they trust that are just good on both ends of the floor. Like, you don't want to leave anybody open because they're going to be able to do damage. And I wonder if a couple of different things, either if it's the new CBA or if it's just these two teams who are a little bit younger and aren't really paying any supermaxes to anyone yet. If the new financial model of the NBA is going to lead to teams going, okay, we've got to be younger, kind of the Goody, what Goody wants to do. We got to be younger, got to have controllable assets, not overpaying a lot of players, and you're more of a complete team versus, all right, we've got our big three. Hopefully Mario Chalmers is a good enough point guard that he's not going to blow it and we can still win a championship.
Kyle, you're the eternal optimist. I mean, do you feel like, all right, all the Bucks got to do is figure out who their, TJ McConnell is, who their Ben Shepherd is, and they'll be better off and ready to go?
Yeah, no, I think the Milwaukee Bucks got an opening with this. The Indiana Pacers have ran through everybody in the Eastern Conference. We were very upset when the Milwaukee Bucks basically gave away Game 5 of that series and struggled in some of those games. But when you look at the Milwaukee Bucks, we thought we're far off, and they're not. And, yeah, I think when you talk to Giannis, say, Giannis, you don't need a big three to win anymore. You need for John Horst, the general manager of the Milwaukee Bucks, to build a good roster around you. So for me, I think you're hopeful because instead of trying to attract big stars, you need to be able just to evaluate talent that you can put around Giannis that can help elevate Giannis and can win around it. Because what we're seeing with Shea and what we're seeing with Tyrese Halliburton is, as Gabe was saying, you're seeing a deep roster of a lot of good players, playing great basketball. So for me, I'm more optimistic for the Milwaukee Bucks, but it falls on the shoulders of John Horst to be able to be creative and put something around our guy in Giannis.
Yeah, Gabe, you used one of those words, youth. The Bucks don't have that much.
Don't have that.
I mean, right, Strouf? Like it feels like
it's hard to
but
be
I think they can
from this.
I think they can get younger, right? Like, at least be young, because
Sure.
Giannis is only 30. Right? So
Yes.
Bobby Portis is younger, you retain Bobby. Kyle Porter Jr. is a really young player. Like, he's young. Like, he's younger than everybody realizes.
Sakuda.
So you maintain him. Gary Trent Jr., you're able to re-sign and keep him. You take a look at the younger pieces on the roster, and that's what you start to build around, which probably means no Brook Lopez, as, you let him walk as a free agent. But you start to try to do that, and part of the what you're convincing Giannis of is, okay, we have this youth. We can try to add some pieces here and there. But really what it comes down to is Giannis trusting that John Horst in this Bucks front office can turn the expiring contract of Kyle Kuzma into something and the expiring contract of Damian Lillard into something after this upcoming season. Because with no Damian Lillard, like, the Bucks aren't going to compete for a championship next year. They're just not. You can't have that type of money wrapped up into one player who unfortunately can't play because of a devastating injury. But it's all about, okay, we'll be competitive team. Like, we're not going to be, a 20-win team by any stretch of the imagination. The Bucks will be able to win 40, 45 games in the East just by having Giannis. But it's about then, okay, does Giannis trust that they're going to be able to turn those two pieces into some younger core pieces that can be around Giannis?
Now, Strouf, that sounds a little bit like it's convincing Giannis, hey, trust the plan here, because if we go ahead and take a 3-year window look, now all of a sudden there seems to be a little bit of hope, but you don't see much hope there.
Well,
because right now, just quickly, Lillard is signed at a very high number, not through just this season, the 25-26 season, but through 26-27. Same with Kuzma. Beyond that, though, there isn't a lot on the roster in that 26-27 year.
No. And similarly to what Gabe just said, you've got to convince Giannis. I think we also have to convince ourselves that after next year, we're going to be able to figure this out, right? If John Horst and the Bucks are going to be able to find a route to build a championship contending roster. And to Gabe's point, when you have Giannis, you're already in that conversation, but the pieces around him matter so much. Next year's obviously going to be brutal. They're going to be, a 6 seed maybe? 5 seed at best? And then,
Weren't we a 5 seed this year?
Right. So maybe even in the play-in, right? Even worse than they were.
It's also different, though, because Boston, who knows what Boston's going to do.
That's
If they're
true.
just going to look to shed salary and just kind of punt on next year, too, since they're dealing with the same thing with one of their superstars, an Achilles injury.
So I guess when you look in the East game.
Does anybody else hate the pessimism from Strouf? You're so pessimistic. You said next year's going to be brutal. Gabe talked about 45, 46 wins, 44 wins. Oh, it's going to be brutal. We have Giannis still, man. Stop being such a pessimist.
You're gonna if Giannis sticks around
40, yeah, that's or whatever it would be 38. What's the math on that?
I wouldn't say
if
pessimist.
Giannis
Spoiled's the word.
Yeah. If Giannis sticks around, he's going to average triple-double next year.
Oh,
boys.
yeah, he might win the MVP.
That's going to be fun. That's not going to be brutal.
year
That's
for
going to be
him.
fun as hell to watch every night.
Yes, but I want championships, Gabe. I like MVPs. MVPs are good. Packers quarterbacks have won a whole lot of them. I prefer Lombardis.
It's been longer since the Packers won a championship than the Bucks.
I know,
and it seems like your patience is far thinner for the Bucks than it is for the
My patience is
Packers.
thin all over the place because what we have seen the last decade of Wisconsin is generational talent. Now we got one with Giannis, so I'll give them a break there. But unfortunately, this Damian Lillard trade was just a flat-out failure. It's unfortunate, right? Because it ended likely in injury, right? And you can't predict that. But it's going to be a failure. That was a swing for the fences move to try to compete for championships now that didn't work, and now you find yourself in the rut you're in. And that's a little bit
But doing nothing
irritating.
there, I'm okay with that swing and a miss
No, I
because
agree.
doing nothing
I
there
agree.
would not have resulted in a championship. You weren't winning a title with Drew Holiday again. You just weren't.
I totally agree. I agree. I would take that swing 10 times out of 10, but it didn't work, and that's the part that hurts.
Yeah, I'm with Gabe. I'm with both of you guys, right? I love that they actually made that move. That's the move that the Packers never make, that at least if it works, puts them in that spot. They needed to improve their offense in order to get back to another championship. The problem is not just the Giannis injury this time or last year, but the Dame injury this year. Those guys played, all of 2 games together in the playoffs? There's zero way to predict that. That's just injury luck.
Totally.
It certainly does put him in a hole.
The biggest thing we're all not really talking about here is the fact that nobody trusts John Horst. If you trusted John Horst to actually build something around Giannis, we wouldn't be having Strouf here talking about the season's going to be brutal, even though you have a top 3 player in the world on your roster. It's the fact that John Horst, to us, has not done a good enough job of building a roster for the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, they won the championship in 2021, but we haven't gotten over the hill. If we trusted in John Horst, we'll be having a different conversation about, let's see what tricks he has up his sleeves. But
Why don't you trust John Horst?
Not worked out of recent.
Because I know you trust Brian Gutekunst.
Why should I trust John?
Because he won a championship.
I do trust Goody.
Why?
Well, he won one championship, and then what happened after that? I know guys.
How many championships has Goody won?
So I take a look at what he's done drafting. I look at what he's done drafting for the Milwaukee Bucks. It's the reason why the Bucks are in the position that they are in now. They don't have any young up-and-coming talent because either he traded away the draft pick or the guys did not work and he's moved on from them. Like trading A.J. Johnson last year is like, okay, well, who's going to be the young guy that helps Giannis? Like, at some point, you got to have Act 2 for Giannis. And John Horst has continued trying to chase the Bucks winning the championship with an average age of a 32-year-old team. It's not going to work.
Yeah, but that's where I think you could look at it and say back in 22, 23, everybody was saying you have to capture this window that Giannis is in right now with Brook Lopez, with Chris Middleton, and you have to do everything you can in order to win in this window. And we just said it. They did. They took a swing. They got a top 75 player of all time when you're talking about Damian Lillard. They went in there, and then they just had brutal injury luck for the last few years. I don't think you can put that on John Horst. And you want to talk about, like, draft picks. Yes, he traded his draft picks in order to try to win now as opposed to try to win later. But the
guys
NBA,
the guys that he drafted didn't work out, Gabe. They didn't work out. The guys that he drafted, Marjon Beauchamp, did not work out.
He was picked 24th overall.
And that's the highest pick he's had.
Oh, here we
What
go.
about, where are the studs that are leading the Packers to a division championship, Kyle? Like, when you start taking a look at the draft classes of Brian Gutekunst, his best draft pick was his first draft pick. After that, these are solid players, but what you need to win a championship, but he hasn't been able to draft a superstar.
But he's been able to draft out in the NBA and NFL very different with how many rounds you get to draft guys. And again, I am one who I'm okay with Goody because I think Goody's done a good enough job. First round, he's been abysmal in the first round. Hopefully that changes with Matthew Golden this year. But I'm just saying, it's at some point you got to hit in the first round, and he has not hit at all. I mean, even if you look at all his draft classes and who he's drafted, he hasn't done a good job building any depth. When you look at the Indiana Pacers, all those guys aren't first-round picks. They do have some first-round picks on that roster, but they also have some undrafted guys and some second-round guys that are helping that roster as well. A good trade to get Pascal Siakam. So all I'm saying is this, is that I like what John Horst has done, but if we believed in John Horst, we wouldn't be so pessimistic about the future for the Milwaukee Bucks if we actually believe that the GM can build a roster around
Who is we? Because the Bucks just signed him to an extension.
It feels like Kyle's using we instead of me. Like, he's the one who's questioning it.
I also just real quick want to point out that the Indiana Pacers, who Kyle just compared them to, have 2 lottery picks leading the way for them, and Miles Turner and Tyrese Halliburton on top of Pascal Siakam.
But Halliburton was not their draft pick.
No,
true.
But it was a trade.
They traded for him.
Go ahead.
Sabonis. Wasn't it?
Yep, Sabonis trade.
Yes, they traded Sabonis for him, yes, after he spent a couple years in Sacramento.
So when y'all saw the extension from John Horst, nobody scratched their head? Nobody said, that's interesting. Nobody saw that? Nobody thought that. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, we'll bring it back. We gave him an extension. Nobody scratched their head and said, okay, that's what we're doing?
I thought that was interesting just because I assumed he was going to be the scapegoat, but I enjoy what Horst has been able to do. I mean, again, Horst is the only general manager who is active right now that brought me a championship. Like, he's got to be. If we're power ranking the GMs in this state, he's got a ring. Nobody else does. He's number one.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I guess for me, I just look at what we've drafted, and I feel like that's what we're missing. Is the Milwaukee Bucks are missing some type of young guys that can contribute. When you look at who got benched for the Milwaukee Bucks in the playoff, or not in the playoffs, in the regular season after they made a trade, his name from UConn, his name has escaped me. Andre Jackson.
Andre Jackson
got
Jr.
benched. I had a lot of hope for Andre Jackson Jr., who can play great defense, but he got benched, and he never saw the court again like that. So I'm just saying, like, at a certain point, we're going to have to find some guys. If you're not going to have high draft picks in the first round, then at least give me some role players. I don't need stars, but give me somebody that can give you at least 12 minutes per game and contribute. But we've got nothing out of his draft picks in the last, 4 drafts?
All right, but I think, and we got to let Gabe go and get to break here because I'm not Craig, and we're not going to do 3 segments each hour here.
Thank you.
But
now you're throwing Craig under the bus.
I'm not throwing him under the bus. He would say the same exact thing.
That was bogus.
He would say this.
I'll blame the producer. That was unnecessary.
I'll blame the producer, Kyle Wallace, then. The one thing I'll say is that if you're going to blame Horst for not drafting well deep in the first round and the second, you got to give him credit for making the trade for Drew Holiday and building the team that ultimately did win a championship.
I do.
Because he did all of that
Sometimes you got to move on.
But that means that you should have some confidence that he knows what he's doing to be able to do it again. Gabe, any final words?
If Giannis leaves, it's because of John Horst.
All right. Gabe, any final words for you before we let you go?
No, hope everybody enjoys Erin Hills if you're coming out here today. Again, we don't know when we're going to get another professional. We've got a lot of amateur championships in the state coming over the next 10 years or so, but I don't know when we're going to get another major on the men's or women's side. So if you can't make it out, enjoy it. Erin Hills looks great on TV, showed its teeth yesterday. Hope everybody gets to enjoy that this afternoon.
I heard Vince Vitrano on Wisconsin's Morning News on 620 WTMJ break it down and say that for the next 25 years, Wisconsin is not going to host a major tournament in men's or women's golf based on how everything is coming together. Is that sound right, Gabe?
Yeah, it sounds right because they've got the on the men's side, like they've got everything booked out forever. On the women's side, there might be one open in the 30s, maybe into the 40s. Our best chance might be the Ryder Cup in 2045.
Whether it's the Bucks or Wisconsin golf or Wisconsin golf majors, you don't know what you got till it's gone, and hopefully the Bucks are back quicker.
You were proud of that one.
You
were proud of that. I saw that look.
Than is the Wisconsin majors. Thank you, Gabe. Enjoy Erin Hills.
Will do, boys. Have a good rest of your show.
We'll swing back. We'll keep talking Bucks. We'll keep talking NBA Finals. I like this Goody versus Horse conversation as well. That's all next. Sunday Karma.
More Sunday Karma coming up on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
No one should face MS alone. The National MS Society is here so that no one has to. There are nearly 1 million people in the United States with MS, with more than 20,000 of those living right here in Wisconsin. The National MS Society makes sure everyone has what they need to take back control from MS. We embrace and are committed to bringing our entire MS community together, representative of all the various dimensions of diversity. The National MS Society is here for every person with MS. We always will be, until we find a cure. To learn more, to donate, or offer your support, head to nationalmssociety.org.
Born in the heart of the earth, natural diamonds rise up like the notes of a song from the throat of Mother Nature.
Rick, that was positively poetic.
Mother Nature sings diamonds.
Sarah, wow, you can sing.
Born in the heart of a plasma chamber, created diamonds fall softly like snowflakes from the heart of a star.
A star that shines like true love.
Natural diamonds are earthborn.
Created diamonds are starborn.
Kessler's has the largest selection of natural diamonds in the state of Wisconsin. All the different sizes, all the fancy shapes.
Give her a fancy diamond.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
Bigger, brighter natural diamonds.
And financing that makes anything possible.
Kessler's is the largest employee-owned jewelry company in America.
Which means we can do anything we want to do.
For you.
Mother Nature sings diamonds.
For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
Save big on everything for your next painting project when you shop at Menards. Pittsburgh's premier is an interior paint and primer in one that provides excellent all-around performance in an easy-to-clean, durable finish. Save big money on Pittsburgh's premier paint now at Menards. Plus, don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all our great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Brad Nortman. A big focus in America today is your health. And you can't be fully healthy if you are not physically mobile to do the things you want to do. If you're someone that keeps on experiencing that joint pain, then you need to visit QC Kinetics. When I go to QC Kinetics' Greenfield location, I am amazed at everything that they have to give you your life back and finally fix that pain that you're experiencing. Everything they do is top of the line. From the free consultation where you can get an ultrasound of your joints and see what is nagging you in real time, to the effective and long-lasting treatments of PRP and stem cells that they offer to give you long-lasting pain relief. Be one of the tens of thousands of other patients who now have a pain-free life because of the treatments they received at QC Kinetics. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation. 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474.
Home practice is about to begin. Your daughter's new tap shoes? Loud. Your son's new tuba? Louder. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft Greystone. So if you lose track of expenses buying some noise-canceling and sanity-saving headphones, we've got your back. You got this with $50 overdraft Greystone from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Looking to transform your home with stylish furniture and home accessories without breaking the bank? At your local IKEA in Oak Creek, they believe everyone deserves a beautiful and affordable living experience that enhances your everyday life. From comfortable and fashionable sofas and sectionals, to kitchens full of inspiration, to bedrooms designed to help you find your best sleep and relaxation, IKEA's home furnishing combines form and function to fit any lifestyle and budget. Visit IKEA Oak Creek today or explore their collection online at ikea.com/US.
And SGA, NYC, Tyrese. The NBA's conference finals happen on ESPN Radio. Tune in nightly on 94.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app for every second of the action.
Hold up, if you wanna go and take a ride with me, better hit me, baby, one more time. Paint a picture for you and me, all the days when we were young, singing off the top of our lungs.
All right, so Strouf's producing today. I'm Greg Scalzo, Kyle Wallace hanging out in Madison. Craig Karmazin on his way back from watching the Pacers take down the Knicks in dominating fashion last night, earning their spot in an NBA Finals that features the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Everyone's critical of Kyle as a producer, but you just went from a promo in Milwaukee on 94.5 ESPN, right? Where it featured a promotion of us airing the conference finals, which is now over.
They are over.
So that
correct.
should be completely off of the log.
Yep, take care of it. Yep.
What was that song that you played for us coming in?
Oh, that was 2002 by Anne Marie. Great tune.
Do you know what that is, Kyle? Kyle's not even paying
I have
attention.
no idea what that is. And I don't know who Anne Marie is.
One hit wonder.
All right.
If you consider that a hit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well.
800-990-3776.
I thought it was a different song. Honestly, I thought it was a different song.
It seemed like a cover of a different song. Is that the idea? Does she take all these songs from 2002
Bingo.
and then start singing them in like a poppy fashion because she can't like come up with her own songs?
Correct,
so she
yeah.
has to just use other people's lyrics.
Yep, you got it.
All right. Great. I'm glad that we're
Read that one
promoting
like a book, pal. Good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. Yeah. 800-990-3776, the number to get into the show. Hit us on the Carbless Talk in text line. Less is more. Kyle brought it up, but he's not confident in John Horst, despite the fact that John Horst put together an NBA championship team, made the moves necessary in order to get there, then took a shot, missed. I thought it was the right shot to take in trying to bring Damian Lillard aboard. Missed, and when you take a shot and you miss, it takes a couple years to recover. Kyle, you seem to prefer Brian Gutekunst's approach of, I'm never going to get to the Super Bowl, but I won't take any shots, and I'll continue to build through youth so that everybody can be hopeful, because at some point, Devontae Wyatt is going to hit. At some point, Quay Walker's going to hit. At some point, LVN is going to hit, and then all of a sudden, 10 years will go by, they'll never get to the Super Bowl, and we'll still be saying, you know what, though? Gutekunst, he's drafted well because he hit Elton Jenkins in the 4th round.
Well, I don't want to be misrepresented with this, as in I love what Goody has done, because I definitely give Goody a lot of criticism for not actually going all in to be able to try to win a championship. But all I'm saying is this. When I look at my two general managers, Jordan Love is not Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I know Aaron Rodgers, we didn't do enough to build around him, and that was the frustration that I had with Goody, is that he refused to give Aaron Rodgers more offensive weapons. And so when I look at John Horst, right now we have the golden age of Giannis, and he tried with Damian Lillard, but the rest of the roster sucks. And, well, I shouldn't say sucks. They're not the best. But when I look at the fact that he had opportunities to draft guys in the first round, he missed. He's just missed, and people may say, oh, well, he drafted late. Well, guess what? There's a guy named Isaiah Collier who played for the Utah Jazz last year, who was drafted 29th overall in the draft, and he averaged 8.7 points last year. There's also a guy named Keyshawn George that was drafted right after A.J. Johnson. He plays for the Washington Wizards. He averaged 8 points. No, whoa, I'm not slowing down nothing. What I'm saying is that it is
the worst team in the league.
It doesn't.
It does
I went
matter.
to the worst
Yes,
teams
it
in the league, but
matters.
they're still. But these are Keyshawn.
Kyle, you could
I don't know
average
too much
8
about
points a
Isaiah
game for the
Collier.
Jazz.
Now we just talking. Keyshawn George is going to be a good NBA player, whether or not he's a great role player or he evolves into being a solid guy. I'm just saying the Milwaukee Bucks have swung and missed every single time. We're acting like it's impossible to try to develop some young guy from the first round. The Milwaukee Bucks have developed absolutely no one. I mean, no one as when John Horst has been the general manager, and that has caused for the Milwaukee Bucks to lack the depth and having to sign older guys and depend on older guys in order to uplift this team. If the Milwaukee Bucks, if John Horst literally, and all the drafts that he had, because he did not draft Giannis, if he found two guys in the first round, just two worked out, this is a different organization right now. But instead, you had to go and you had to trade to try to get Drew Holiday. You had to go and you try to trade to get Eric Bledsoe. You had to do all these different things to maneuver around to try to get talented guys, because you can't get talented guys on your own by drafting. So yes, I believe he has failed the Milwaukee Bucks, and more so has failed Giannis in his failure to draft somebody in the first round. I mean,
how do you see that him trading draft picks to get Drew Holiday is a failure when they end up winning the championship?
I didn't say that. I did not say that. I said
you have to go and get a Drew Holiday. You have to go and get. You went all the way back to Eric Bledsoe.
What I'm saying is that he has failed at draft when he's had the opportunity. I'll go through it. A.J. Johnson, Tyler Smith, Chris Livingston, Marjon Beauchamp. Remember Jordan Ward?
Real quick, by your own admission, right?
DJ Wilson.
You had Mr. Collier, who averaged 8.7 points for the Jazz, as a success. Here's the difference. A.J. Johnson, when he got to Washington this year, averaged 9.1 points. So did he make a good draft pick by drafting A.J. Johnson because he scored on a bad team?
I think he.
But when you are a good team,
I personally think he did.
When you're a good team, the way that the Milwaukee Bucks have been, right? Historically, they have been. They won the finals, then they won 51 games in 21-22 season. They won 58 games in the 22-23 season. They won 49 games in the 23-24 season. You're a good team. It's hard to develop young players because they're not going to see the court, because ultimately you've got great starters, right? You're trying to win a championship there. So yes, if the goal is we need to refocus the strategy for this Bucks team in order to develop young talent, then you're looking at a 3-year window where you can't complain if they're winning 40, 45 games because they're trying to develop young guys. You can't develop young guys when young guys don't play. It's why the Oklahoma City Thunder were able to do it, but they were bad year after year after year until last year when they started to emerge. The Pacers, they weren't very good until last year when they started to emerge. So if you're going to take that approach, then you have to take that approach holistically, not just in a vacuum.
I know we're late on time. All I'm saying is this. I get what everybody is saying, but you got to hit somewhere. Somewhere. If you just hit somewhere, this roster is better off. I know that A.J. Johnson wasn't going to get a lot of tick, but when are you going to look at any of these guys and say, A.J., you're not going to contribute this year, but 2 years from now, you're going to be the guy that's going to take over for Chris Middleton? That's what I'm saying. We just don't have anybody coming up. Marjon Beauchamp was a waste. We all know he was a waste.
Yeah, it was a mess.
But that turned into Kevin Porter Jr., I just want to point out.
Sakuda. We will turn our attention to the Green Bay Packers and invite Jason Wilde to the conversation. We'll see what he thinks from Brian Gutekunst's standpoint. And what's the latest with Jair Alexander? All that coming up next. Sunday Karma across ESPN Wisconsin.
You're listening to Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. Looking to simplify your everyday banking? Our checking and savings accounts offer the tools you need, plus the friendly, Simply Local service you deserve. Enjoy competitive rates, 24/7 online and mobile banking, and real people ready to help right here in your community. Whether your checking balance is at midnight or stopping by one of our branches at noon, Great Midwest Bank has you covered with a variety of new and improved account options designed for your unique needs. Great Midwest Bank, simply local and member FDIC.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco.
Tournament host Steve Stricker joins a star-studded group of PGA Tour champions at the American Family Insurance Championship. Catch the action June 6th through the 8th with an exciting team competition and a new tournament home at TPC Wisconsin. This year's AmFam Champ concert features Megan Maroney with special guest Clint Black on Friday, June 6th at Breese Stevens Field. All proceeds support the Steve Stricker American Family Insurance Foundation and American Family Children's Hospital. Get your tickets today at amfanchampionship.com.
Slide into your neighborhood Century Food Store to score the freshest produce, tastiest treats, and everything in between. Now through Wednesday, save on 9-ounce selected varieties essential everyday potato chips, 2 for $4. 3-count selected varieties Marushan ramen noodles, 4 for $1. 64-ounce selected varieties Sunny Delight, 2 for $3. 12.8 to 18.8 ounce selected varieties Jimmy Dean breakfast sandwiches, $5.49.
Let's get some strawberries.
Attention shoppers. Safe.
Okay. Ooh, pineapple fulfills every need.
While you're shopping, a drive way back, it's a gunner.
There's something goofy going on with the PA.
Need a price check and I'll take me out to the ball game.
See, what is going on?
You're hearing things. We're at Century Foods, and you can't take your mind off winning that ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes.
I'm hoping to throw out the first pitch at a Milwaukee baseball game.
Or attend batting practice.
Or hold the finish line ribbon for the racing sausages.
You don't say.
The ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes at Century Foods. Enter on Century's Facebook or Instagram by July 30th.
ESPN Wisconsin's Brian Balaga here for my new friends at Surfside. There's only one thing better than Surfside and golf, and that's Surfside iced teas and lemonade plus vodka on the golf course. This golf season, there's no better drink to enjoy on the golf course. Surfside is light, refreshing, and made with real vodka and real brewed tea. Plus, there's only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation. Cheers to hitting the fairway, and cheers to Surfside. It's tea time. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Forget average. At Exterior Pros, they bring the heat. They're not here to meet standards, they're here to smash them. From the first swing of the hammer to the final reveal, they're leveling up your home with every window, every shingle, and every single detail. This isn't just a remodel, it's a glow up for your house. Built tough, built beautiful, built to turn heads. Want in? Let's go. Lock in your project now and save $3,000. Exterior Pros, where bold meets built. Trust the pros and visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274.
Hi, this is Leanne Womack. I fell in love with country music as a child listening to my dad spin records at a radio station. I always dreamed of hearing my own songs on the radio. I set a goal and achieved it. You can do anything if you set your mind to it. Never let anyone tell you it's impossible. So if you have the chance to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
In season, off season, draft season. Whatever season it is, we are Milwaukee's place to talk green and gold. Listen, watch, or stream live whenever, wherever. 94.5 ESPN.
All you got to do is listen to the music to know Alex Strouf is the one producing today. Kyle Wallace hanging out at the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison offices. I'm Greg Scalzo here with Stroufy at the Gruber Law offices. One call, That's All Studios at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. We're excited to be joined, as we are every week, by Jason Wilde from his home studio up in Green Bay. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing well.
We talk about it pretty much every week, but the latest in the Jair Alexander saga is the Packers have proposed a restructured contract, according to reports, and Xavier McKinney is the latest teammate to step up and say, we want him back. Oh, has anything changed in your opinion as far as Alexander and the potential of him to return to Green Bay?
Yeah, I mean, unless Xavier McKinney has been promoted to general manager, his opinion, while great, probably doesn't carry a lot of weight with the GM. So, you know, I think those two have been working out together this offseason. They have a close connection. We've talked before about how, you know, the feeling in the building was that Xavier McKinney had been a really good influence on Jair after his tumultuous 2023 season. And I think that's all true. And maybe it also is enough influence that he'll say yes to this restructured, let's call it what it is, though, a pay cut, with the opportunity to earn back the money that he'd be giving up through weekly active roster bonuses, and maybe some of it is tied to Pro Bowl or All-Pro accolades or team success. We don't know because he hasn't accepted it, and I think that's one of the reasons why we have to be careful about getting too excited if you're a Packers fan about him being back in the fold. Now, I know there are Packers fans who think the beat writers are trying to run him out of town, which is pretty amazing because we don't have that kind of power. But I do think it's important, and I talked about this throughout the week, that the part of that report from The Athletic that I think is being kind of glossed over a little bit is everyone's focused on, there's an offer on the table. Great. What they're not focused on is the part where it says that Jair Alexander plans on reporting to the mandatory minicamp, if not sooner. He has been staying away from the offseason program despite a $700,000 workout bonus, which he may or may not have negotiated with the team to pay it even while he stays away, because it's obviously not in his financial best interest not to be at the OTA practices, not to have been at phase 1 or phase 2 of the offseason program. So the idea of him maybe coming in this week for the last week of the OTA practices or next week for the mandatory minicamp, I don't want that to be, and I feel like a kind of a lone voice in the wilderness here, but I don't want that to be misconstrued. That is a negotiating tactic. That is a pressure point, because the reason he hasn't been taking part in the offseason program is that the Packers don't want him on the field while he is still on his current existing deal. Remember, he's under contract. So it's like he's a free agent here. And if he were to blow out his Achilles, they would be on the hook for his entire 2025 salary of $16 million, and they wouldn't be able to move him. They'd be stuck with him on injured reserve. They couldn't release him, and they would eat that cap number for a guy who would play 0 snaps. So they have had him stay away. So the fact that he is saying he's going to report, even if the new contract is not in place, that is not some sort of out of the goodness of his heart, I want to be with my teammates. I'm sure he does want to be with his teammates, but they don't want him on the field until he has agreed to this restructured contract that reduces their financial risk if he has injury issues like he has had for 3 of the last 4 seasons. So while all of us, myself included, look forward to this resolution, I don't think that we're as close to the resolution as we would like to believe. And the part of Xavier McKinney's comments from Tuesday or Wednesday that are also not getting a lot of attention is that he makes sure he circles back and says, Jair has to do what's best for him. It's great that we want him back. We all want him back, but I just want him to be happy, and whatever it is that's going to be best for him, that's what I want for him as my friend.
So the thing I'm struggling to wrap my head around, Jason, is this restructure that was offered to him is obviously going to be, I shouldn't say obviously, but it is likely what we would refer to as a low ball, right? It's something that Goody has done in the past. It is a low guaranteed point, and then obviously there'd be some incentives built in. But if he is to hit the open market, it's not like he's going to sign a massive contract or get a massive offer elsewhere. So the thing in my brain, and maybe I'm wrong on this, it seems to me like the best decision for Jair would be to stay put in Green Bay, given that he would likely be able to make a good chunk of his salary back based on incentives. But if he's to hit the open market, he's going to lose a lot of money, no?
I don't know if he's going to lose a lot of money. He would certainly lose probably the opportunity to make back the money he'd be losing in Green Bay, right? And what I mean by that is, and you're right, it has not been reported what the restructured pay cut contract looks like. But just for mathematical purposes, his base salary is $16.15 million, okay? Let's say they cut that in half, and they say your base salary, which will be guaranteed on the first day of the season because you're a vested veteran, is going to be $8.075 million. And then we're going to take the other $8.075 million, and we're going to put some of it or most of it in weekly roster bonuses. We're going to divide that number by 17, and then you are going to make 1/17 of that every week when you are active for the games. So if you're active for 10 games, you will get 10 of those 17 bonuses. If you're active for all 17, you'll get them all. But if you're missing games, then you're not going to get that money back, right? Now, you're right. If he goes to another team and doesn't and has to sign a different type of contract, he's probably not going to make the same amount all day if he stays healthy for 17 games. At the same time, maybe he doesn't want all of his or half of his salary tied to him playing in all 17 games. Now, again, I don't know how they structured this. I don't. But I'm looking at this on my little fun calculator here. And $8.075 million divided by 17 games is $475,000 per game. So every time he plays, he's going to get $475,000. That would be appealing, right? For those of us that can't fathom that level of money.
Not a bad deal, yeah.
Right, but
we broke boys,
Greg,
Jason.
can
We're
we
called
work
broke
that into my
boys.
contract by chance, Greg?
No.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so every time every time Strouf shows up for Sunday Karma, he makes $4.75.
Deal. It's more than I make now.
But
Same.
Stop. But so my point is that maybe what I think, and again, I have not talked to Jair about this at all. What I think is probably the push and pull for him is he likes the system. He likes Halfley. He likes the two defensive backs assistants, Ryan Downard and Derek Ansley. He's obviously become very good friends with Xavier McKinney and with Keyshawn Nixon. So, and he would still, again, in my theoretical world, because I don't know how lowball the base salary offer will be, but in my theoretical world, that all sounds pretty good. But we all have pride, right? So maybe he's like, look, if I'm going to make less than I believe I'm worth and it's going to be tied to incentives, I want to do it with somebody else. And I'm going to force their hand to release me because they can't legally keep me off the field if I report. So, again, I take no joy in this storyline. I certainly take no joy in it continuing on and on and on, but we are approaching a resolution, and I do think it's important to point out that when Matt LaFleur had the chance with Kay Adams to, again, say something, and Jeff Halfley had the opportunity with me a couple weeks ago to say something like, look, I don't know how this is going to work out. All I know is that we are a better defense when Jair Alexander is on the field. So I hope something can be worked out, but they're working through that. Smarter minds than mine are working through that. So I'm going to continue to hope that he's going to be with us, but I can't say that for certain. He's technically on our roster, but we all understand that there's other things that have to happen before he plays for us again. I really hope that that's true. But no one said that, okay? And so and the beauty of being the coach, the beauty of being the head coach without any personnel responsibilities, which again became a topic, right? After Mercedes Lewis was, Kay Adams gets all the guests that I'd like to be getting on Wilde and Tausch. I don't know how she does it, but I'm jealous of her.
You don't have enough hair to twirl, Jason. You can't twirl your hair.
I do wear the glasses. I don't think help me much in terms of making me look smarter either. But she talked to Mercedes Lewis, who basically said, look, Matt LaFleur wanted me back for another year, right? And it gave me the opportunity to retell my favorite story about the assistant coaches buying Matt LaFleur a Mercedes Lewis jersey to make fun of him for how much he loved Mercedes and how he'd use him as an example all the time. Well, if you have a coach who does not have any or very little say in personnel, what is the downside of him being the knight in shining armor in terms of his players and to Jair of coming out and saying, yeah, look, I don't know how this is going to work out. I just know how good we are when we have a healthy Ja, and I would love to have him back on this team, but there's other forces at work here, and I don't know how it's going to turn out. But understand this, I would love to have him here, and hopefully it works out. And if it doesn't, I wish him the best, and I wish him success every time he plays someone other than us. Like, There's nothing saying he
Jason,
can't say that.
Well, Jason, I guess my question is, because it just seems weird to me, are the Packers just better off cutting bait with him now and just saving $17 million? Or are they better off just slightly overpaying him? Because I believe that Jair has a little bit more leverage in this situation. If you don't want somebody and you can save $17 million now that it's post-June 1, what are we doing, right? Like, I know Goody said he wanted to get something for his asset, but going back and forth and then risking him being on a practice field come June 10th through the 12th during mandatory minicamp, well, what are we doing? That's what I'm saying. Like, do you just slightly overpay for him or you just cut him at this point?
Yeah, I don't know, and it's all going to come down to, Kyle, what he does to force their hand, and that's why I keep emphasizing this part of the story that I just don't understand why it hasn't been talked about more, because this is such a crucial piece. Now maybe this is all resolved, right? Like maybe right now, Jair is up on the third floor at Lambeau Field signing this adjusted contract, and we're going to show up at practice on Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day we've got this week, and lo and behold, there he's going to be. It's Tuesday. And great, right? And our long regional nightmare will be over, because we've been talking about this literally since the locker room cleanout day when he proclaimed to the gathered media that y'all don't want to talk to me. I don't even know if I'm going to be here next year. So that was January 13th. Today is June 1st. So, again, that could be the case. It's also possible that he shows up for the mandatory minicamp and he either uses that to get more of his money put into his base salary or guaranteed in some form and less of it being predicated on playing time, or he says, look, I'm going on the field, and here's one way you can stop me. Cut me. And then I won't be able to go on the field because I won't be a member of this team anymore.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with Jason Wilde to keep talking Packers. This is Sunday Karma across ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. The 2015 Wisconsin men's hoops team gave us all a march to remember.
There will be no undefeated champion on Wisconsin with an unbelievable stretch drive to the championship game.
On June 26th, enjoy an intimate celebration with the stars of the run with Made 'em Believe. Presented by M3 Insurance. World-class expertise and individual attention. Tickets are on sale now at uwhoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe. June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
Nestled along the shores of Lake Michigan, the Knickerbocker Hotel offers a timeless escape in the heart of Milwaukee. Immerse yourself in the rich history of this iconic landmark where charm meets modern luxury. Picture yourself enjoying breathtaking lake views, luxurious rooms, and dining at one of the finest restaurants in the city. Whether you're visiting for a weekend getaway or a special occasion, the Knickerbocker promises an unforgettable experience. Your perfect stay awaits at the Knickerbocker Hotel. For more information and to book your next stay, visit knickerbockeronthelake.com.
Unlock big savings and add style and security to your home with Schlag door locks from Menards. Whether you're looking for a traditional interior lock or a Wi-Fi compatible electronic lock, Menards has you covered with more than 200 options of Schlag locks in stock. Save big on all door locks. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman's Brad Nortman. You hear me talk about Carbless and their refreshing flavors all the time. One of my favorites is watermelon, and Carbless just dropped the Watermelon Vodka Cocktail 4-pack. Perfect for chilling, grilling, or game day thrills. You know the drill. Zero sugar, unlimited flavor. Enjoy clean, crisp refreshment without the guilt. That's what Carbless does. Find the new Watermelon 4-packs wherever you get your Carbless. Crack open the taste of summer and get your bliss on.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, here's Jeff Levering.
Thanks, Gina Della from Pella. What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Every day is beautiful because Pella installs year-round during all seasons.
And as Pella goes into another windup, it's so hard to guess the next pitch. The customizations seem endless.
And it doesn't have to be super expensive. Pella has a product line for every budget.
And if it is time for a major upgrade, rest easy by scoring no interest and no payments for up to 2 years.
Pella also provides provides a free in-home consultation, which includes a no-obligation quote.
That's always a great play because working with one of Pella's design experts is such a wonderful, no-pressure get-together. I know this from experience.
With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the USA, you can get the look you want at a price you can afford.
And there's no reason to wait with this incredible deal going on.
Get no interest and no payment for up to 2 years.
Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply in 6/30/2025.
Hey, it's Brad Nortman, and I've got to tell you about my go-to car wash, Tsunami Express. Get your ride looking its best and ride the wave at Tsunami Express Car Wash, Milwaukee's fan favorite for that perfect shine. Sign up for a monthly membership and enjoy unlimited washes for less than $1 a day. Skip the wait with the fast lane and take advantage of great perks. With locations in Midtown Milwaukee, Waukesha, Greenfield, Oak Creek, and Mount Pleasant, Tsunami Express has you covered. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Visit TsunamiExpress.com to learn more.
For over 50 years, Cousin Subs has celebrated and embraced the traditions of their home state of Wisconsin. And now, Cousins will be honoring a Wisconsin tradition like no other with their pull tab giveaway promo. Now through July 6th, while supplies last, guests will receive a Cousins pull tab with a sub or sub-inable purchase for a chance to win Cousin Subs for a year and much more. For additional info and official rules, visit cousinsubs.com/pull tabs. One pull tab per customer per transaction per day. To receive a pull tab with no purchase necessary, see official rules.
Start the day with Jen, Gabe, and Chew.
When you're playing like an A player, you have to play like an A player, not a B player, and he has never played like an A player.
On 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Someone must have been praying for me. 'Cause when I hold my daughter, I hear heaven speak.
Welcome back into Sunday Karma across ESPN Wisconsin. Greg Scalzo, Alex Strouf, hanging out at the Gruber offices. One call, That's All Studios at ESPN Milwaukee. Kyle Wallace at the Everlight Solar Studios at ESPN Madison. Craig Karmazin driving from Indiana back to Milwaukee after watching the Knicks fall to the Pacers. And we're joined, as we are every week, by Jason Wilde in Green Bay. Jason, a lot of conversation this week going on about Jordan Love and sort of his progress from his first year of starter to his second year of starter. We heard from Matt LaFleur last year at the end of the season about wanting Jordan Love to grow more as a vocal leader. Nothing so much about on the field, but off of the field as a leader. You obviously are very close to the team. Where do you feel like Jordan Love is at that point? And what do you expect from him coming up throughout the camp and leading into this season?
Yeah, it's a good question on a couple levels, and not just because I wrote about it today at channel3000.com, but because it's interesting that Matt LaFleur focused on that. And, as all of our shows kind of latched onto during the course of the week, Matt LaFleur also trying to essentially defend or at least deflect questions about Jordan Love's production and what they might need from him in year 3 as a starter, right? Like, pointed out the injuries and the drops, and, well, of course he's going to have less production because he missed time. Well, that's not what we mean by production, and Matt knows that, and he made the snarky remark about me being a physical specimen, which I enjoyed. But again, that was deflecting. Like, the fact of the matter is he's got to play better. And if people, like, I just don't understand why they or fans, I get it. Like, everyone wants Jordan Love to succeed. I certainly do. I think he's a really good dude, right? I think he's a really good teammate. I think he's working to become a more vocal leader, but that's not how he's wired. Like, I think he's really, and I've talked to players about this, I think he's really, really good one-on-one if he's got an issue with something you did. Like, I don't know if his predecessor was always great about that. I think he's better at it than people give him credit for because he drives them up the wall. But the fact of the matter is if you're going to be someone you're not, then people are going to see through that. So Jordan's walking that line from a leadership perspective. I asked Josh Jacobs about that. I asked Jaden Reed about that. They both said he has been more vocal when they've been meeting during the offseason. Whether that continues and how that evolves throughout the season, We'll have to wait and see. But from a production standpoint, I mean, let's not forget the kind of football this guy played down the stretch in 2023. In 8 games to close the season, he completed over 70% of his passes, 2,150 yards, 18 touchdowns, 1 pick. His passer rating was 112.7. In the final 4 games of 2024, which again, you know, he left the Bears game with some sort of elbow issue, but he had the feeling back by the time he was actually going home from the game, he said. But the last 4 games, which was beating the Saints, losing to the Vikings and the Bears, and then losing in the playoff game to Philly, his completion percentage was like 60%. He threw the 3 picks against Philly. He had 1 touchdown pass. That's not productive enough. And, you know, we can talk about how Malik Heath ran his route too deep on one of the interceptions and all the other stuff. But the bottom line is they need him to play better than he did. And all those other things factor in. But what bothers me about that is that, you know who also knows he's got to play better? Jordan Love. And he's fine with saying that. Now, he did not like it when someone basically stated as fact that he had taken a step back, which I don't think is wrong, by the way. We can argue about the semantics of, well, he didn't take as big of a step forward as you would have liked. Okay, if you feel better putting it that way, that's fine too, because he certainly developed and grew and learned from his experiences last year. But the fact of the matter is that if they're going to be a Super Bowl team, he needs to play better than he did down the stretch. And if you're a Packers fan, it's okay to say that, and certainly you want to be rooting for that. And I personally think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to have a really good year. I do not think he is a substandard quarterback, but I hope he's taking, you know, one ranking that's got him 14th and another ranking that's got him 12th. I hope he's putting that in his more motivational portfolio and getting ready to go out there and have a big year.
Yeah.
You fired up?
I'm fired up. Love hearing that from
Jason.
Jason.
Just for you, Strouf.
You're the
That's
man,
just
Jason.
for you, buddy.
That's great.
Jason, appreciate the time. We'll be listening tomorrow and every day on Wilde and Tash between 9 and noon across ESPN.
It's Sunday today.
Wisconsin. It is Sunday. This is why it's called Sunday Karma.
Oh, that makes sense. Got it.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, guys. Take care. Be good.
We'll circle back with Craig Karmazin. He'll join us live from the road to talk some NBA Finals. We'll also react to some of Jason's thoughts on the Green Bay Packers and talk with you. 800-990-3776. Again, 800-990-3776. And I just learned that Alex Strouf hasn't listened yet to Aaron Rodgers on Joe Rogan. Have you, Kyle?
Yeah, I'm not in the mood for any conspiracy theories, so I passed on that one.
Wow.
Girlfriend's out of town all week. I think I might need to fire that out. Worth it?
I just think as hosts on ESPN Wisconsin, you guys should know what the latest Hall of Fame quarterback is thinking. It'd be like not watching the Brett Favre documentary.
How many things might he get sued over for saying on Rogan?
He's not going to get sued over him for just saying them.
I feel like he crossed a couple lines.
I imagine he might have crossed lines, but you're talking about being able to be sued effectively? Like, that's not going to happen. He definitely might have crossed some lines. We'll get to all that coming up next. Yeah. Sunday Karma across ESPN Wisconsin.
At Potawatomi, where ways to win are endless, another chance to capture epic cash and prizes comes Friday, June 27th. It's the season finale blockbuster drawings. Watch your entries from Enchanted Spins, Unreal Treasures, and Boundless Bounty come together for drawings where $300,000 in cash and prizes is there for the taking. Be there to win your share. June 27th only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info online. Must be 21 years old to play.
Hey there, Brewers fans. We've got a new way for you to watch the Brew Crew this season. FanDuel Sports Network. And now there are more ways to watch the Brewers than ever before. Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream all the action. Or, new this season, Brewers Baseball is now available on Amazon Prime Video as an add-on subscription. You can also access FanDuel Sports Network through TV providers, including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. Visit GetMyHomeTeams.com to learn more.
At Hazelden Betty Ford, treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns. It's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand. We're here for you with new tools when life breaks down. Discover your path to better mental health at hazeldenbettyford.org/Wisconsin. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's, flavor is our family's business.
Hey, this is Homer. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Go trim my treat, I love my twin. When I shop it, I buy by the pair. They said it was up with me, but I'm so trim right now, don't even care. Came out the bottom, I kind of whole lot of young gonna.
You're listening to Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
It is Sunday Karma. Full force today, kinda. I'm Greg Scalzo, hanging out with Alex Strouf. The Grubelofts is one call. That's all studios at ESPN Milwaukee in the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Kyle Wallace at the Everlight Solar Studios at ESPN Madison. Big thanks to Gabe Neitzel for joining us at the top live from Aaron Hills. We had Jason Wilde last hour from Green Bay, and we're joined now by our fearless leader, Craig Karmazin, who I believe is in the car on his way from Indiana back to Milwaukee after watching the Pacers take the next step and earn their place in the NBA Finals. What's up, Craig?
Just glad that it wasn't bumped back in with Rob 49.
I wish I knew what that meant.
Yeah.
WTH Helly?
I also wish I knew what that meant.
Me and Stroke.
I got to be honest with you guys. All right, so that was Hakuna Matata by Gunna. I had to go to the Apple Music rap playlist to see today's top rap hits in order to know what to play today. That's where we're at.
Oh, wow.
Wait, do we have Kyle in the Everlight Studios or something? I thought I heard
he's delayed, but not this far delayed. I don't know. He still isn't speaking up.
No. I mean, I was just gonna say we don't play rats because Gunna is a rat, according to Young Thug. But that was
why is he a rat? What did he do?
I have no idea what he was locked up and he snitched and he got out. He was a rat. He told on people. Wow. But I also do not know what Rob 48 or 49 is. I have no idea who that is or what WHLL.
You don't know about the song? I don't know what that is. The song that says "What the Helly Burden"?
What the Helly? Oh, what the Helly? Oh, what the Helly Burden? What the Helly Berry? What the Helly?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. What the Helly? Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know his
so
name.
are you a Halley fan now that you went all the way to Indianapolis? Is that what happened here?
What I'm saying, that song, my daughter Harper has rightly said, that song has become the entire personality of the city of Indianapolis. So literally, as you're driving from one car to another out the window, you just hear that rap song of saying "What the Halliburton" going, and then you walk into the arena and that song played when Tyrese was introduced, and then 7 to 8 times at the game, including when Rob 49 was shown courtside. Like, I think we're in a spot where Giannis has been in so many songs that it's not as big a deal, but this is Halliburton's first, so Indianapolis is, for good reason, riding high. They're going back to the NBA Finals for the first time in 25 years, and it was a special night. I think having been there in Milwaukee when the Bucks won a championship, remember we won the Eastern Conference on the road, so we didn't have the similar experience. It's great to see a Midwest city, experience that. It's just kind of sad when it's not us.
You were also at Game 5 at MSG where the Knicks won there. I mean, what's the viewing experience difference between like the famous Madison Square Garden where you've got all the celebrities on the floor, and then going to Indiana to watch them win one on their home court?
It was so different because at Indiana, the core important thing was that everyone wore their gold shirt. Right? Like they were not going to let the game start until everyone had their giveaway shirt on. So literally they went on the big screen and focused in on each Pacers fan who was wearing a Pacers shirt that was not their yellow shirt. And even if they had a different yellow shirt on, they made them put their giveaway shirt on. So it's a very different vibe than the celebrities in New York. I would say it was an interesting spot because both arenas were very similar. Game 5 was a nervous Madison Square Garden, down 3-1. And Game 6, there was that little bit of nerves coming off that blowout loss that the Pacers had suffered in Game 5. But it was a raucous arena. It was really loud from the start. It was louder in Indianapolis than it was at Madison Square Garden, and the noise never stopped. It's also a crowd that is just obsessed with all the calls the referees are getting wrong and all the flopping that the Knicks are doing. And whereas I think the Knicks, Madison Square Garden is a pure NBA crowd, the Indianapolis people, which is a basketball town, they are very, very convinced that the world and everyone wants New York to win and everything is a conspiracy. Like legitimately every foul call against the Pacers was a conspiracy last night.
Except the Pacers have historically owned the Knicks over the last 30 years in the playoffs. So if the league wanted the Knicks to be beating the Pacers regularly, they've been doing a very poor job of it. We talked about this at the top of the show, Craig, but does the Thunder Pacers finals give you more hope that the Bucks can get back there sooner, or less hope that the Bucks can get back there sooner?
Well, I think as we see the Eastern Conference makeup, I think that's the biggest thing that makes you think the Bucks can get there soon, because it's just it's almost bizarre, right? It almost makes you think like if the league was going to do it right, they wouldn't do the playoffs by conferences, that they would just seed the 16 teams and have the best teams advance, because I think you can make an argument that going into next year with the Tatum and Dame Lillard injuries, that maybe the Cavs, Pacers, and Knicks are the 3 best teams in the East, and that you could argue that there's 9 or 10 Western Conference teams that might be at that same level. I mean, that's how good the Western Conference is. So when you think about the East and you think about how quickly the Bucks figured things out, and outplayed the Pacers for both the majority of regulation and overtime in Game 5, like you think with a full off season to retool, like I believe the Bucks with the best player in the Eastern Conference will be very competitive next year, and this makes me feel really good about where the Bucks are.
Well, the best player in the Eastern Conference, you're talking about Giannis, Craig. There's been a lot of rumors about whether or not he will be with the Milwaukee Bucks, and there's this big meeting that needs to happen. Now, is this a normal thing that the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis need to have a meeting after they had their meeting after the season already?
There's always meetings, right? Like that's what the Bucks are, an aligned organization. The Bucks, you don't hear the coach and the GM disagree on this and that, and ownership and the GM disagree, and ownership and the coach. Like the Bucks are an aligned organization. They don't hire a coach without, at the time, Chris Middleton and Giannis meeting with them, right? Like it's an aligned organization. So yeah, there's plenty of meetings that go on, and that's normal, and that's giving the star player and the person who's shaping the culture of the franchise a voice in what's happening. And so I have not seen from my vantage point. Yeah, and my vantage point is not that of a majority owner of the team or anything like that. I've not seen from my vantage point any difference in this offseason to any other offseason since Giannis has become, the star that he is.
Craig, that should be calming for everybody who's listening.
Do you feel calmer, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I feel much calmer. If they are just status quo, everything is usual. Everybody's all talking about, they have to meet. Well, as Craig said, they usually are aligned and they usually do have conversations. So we're not talking about conversations about whether I should be here. We're just talking about regular conversations of how can we get better. And that makes me feel better.
Good.
Craig, do you think that...
And I think this year, because of being right now over the salary cap, but below the luxury tax as we speak, below the first and second aprons as we speak, there's more flexibility this year than the team has had in a few years when it comes to roster construction.
Yeah, we see a couple of interesting rosters constructed in this NBA Finals as we talk to Craig Karmazin here on Sunday Karma across ESPN Wisconsin. Craig, do you feel like, because there's a lot of NBA folks out there saying that this is the league's worst nightmare. You got two small markets, right, between Indianapolis and Oklahoma City. You don't have a bona fide star, even though SGA is an MVP. Do you view it that way, or do you view this as maybe that next opportunity for the NBA to develop that next generation of star, given that the biggest stars in the league are, in general, at least in their 30s.
This is the worst
30s.
nightmare. This is the absolute worst nightmare if you're judging things on what the audience is going to be for this series, right? Like, now if Indiana, right now Oklahoma City is a minus 750 favorite in the series. So that means, you have to bet $7.50 to win $1 on Oklahoma City. That's how big they are favorite right now. So not only do you have two small market teams, not only do you not have the superstars that people know, but then you have what, it appears to be a lopsided series. So that's the negative part of it. The positive part of it is you have the MVP of the NBA and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's now going to get this platform for people to see what a unique and wonderful player he is. He's almost like a modern-day Allen Iverson in some ways. Does anyone else have a player they can compare him to? I have not been able to come up with a comparison for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. AI is the...
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. He's just got so much more size than him that it's hard to make that comp in that way. But, yeah.
And he doesn't explode. He doesn't have the explosiveness that AI or show it that often.
And he's kind of got that James Harden ability to draw fouls and be able to get to the line consistently and do it that well. But he is way more athletic than James Harden, so that's a tough comp.
Yeah, so you get people to see SGA and Tyrese Halliburton. But I think for the league, it's a real positive in that you're seeing that this is a league now, kind of like the NFL, right? Where you don't need to be in New York, LA, Chicago, or Texas or Florida, and you don't have to assemble three of the best players in the league through free agency, and you don't have to have even the number 1 or 2 or 3 pick in the draft to win. And so in a league that, to me, the biggest weakness of the league is too much tanking, and we saw 10 different teams not playing to win down the stretch of this season, you look at these teams and you're like, wait, they don't have the first pick of the draft. They didn't have the second pick of the draft, and they didn't get any high-priced free agents, yet here they are sitting in the NBA Finals. So to me, this is a indication of a healthy league, and that there's a ton of different paths that you can take to get to building a championship team.
Yeah, absolutely. Big yawn from you, Kyle.
Yeah,
a big one at the wedding last night? What's going on?
That was a big one.
The full two-hand stretch, Craig? You're talking, and he's got his hands above his head.
I thought it was kind of interesting.
I did too.
I thought it was a good point that I haven't heard explained before, right? That, the thought is, you need to have all these big threes and big whatevers, or you need to be able to sign the big free agency, or you need to tank and get the number 1 pick. But, look at these teams. They were dealt through trades and, ultimately smart roster management.
I
don't want to be mean to... No, it was a good point, and I think that was something that a lot of people probably had the epiphany, the aha moment recently if you watch the NBA playoffs, that you don't need to have a big three anymore, and as Gabe said, you need to have a pretty deep roster. But I just don't want to be mean, because we had a conversation earlier today, Craig, about would you rather have Goody or Horst as your – would you rather have the track record of Goody or Horst? And I give both of those guys a lot of flack. I like them. I think they're very good at their job, but personally, I don't trust Goody to build this roster around Giannis. So I'm a doubter.
I don't trust Goody to build this roster around Giannis either. I'm with you on
I'm
that.
sorry.
Yeah.
I quickly changed my.
I had a rough night,
Strouf love jumping down. No. And so I don't trust Horst to rebuild this roster. So when I saw the extension, I was a little bit surprised by that extension. But
so
I mean,
what move? Why don't you? I mean, did you not like the Drew move, or did you not like the Dame move? Which one didn't you like at the time?
No, I like both moves, but what I'm saying is that I believe that you need to supplement by drafting at some point. Draft somebody. If you're going to have draft picks, somebody's got to work out. And I just feel like in the last, since maybe 2018, nobody, not first round or second round picks, have not worked out. And yet maybe you found a couple role players with like an A.J. Green who might be turning a corner for you, but you just really haven't had any big contributors that you've drafted in the last 7 years that you're like, okay, this guy is a staple of this team. He's not a guy we're leaning on to win this basketball, to be a leader of this team, but a guy that we can throw in a rotation like a Pat Connaughton. You didn't draft Pat Connaughton. You signed Pat Connaughton. So I'm just saying we haven't drafted and developed any guys.
I think you're right in that you look at the Pacers and the Nembhard, but they traded for Nesmith, right? Like there's not a lot of guys on that Pacers roster that are contributing that they actually drafted, right? Halliburton through a trade, Siakam through a trade. Obviously Miles Turner's been there for a long time, but the Thunder have drafted incredibly well. And then the Thunder have a ton of draft picks coming as a result of the multiple trades they made. So I agree. If you're going to build a deep roster, you need to be able to hit on those 20th picks and 18th picks of the draft. The Bucks have just been so good, that it's been like the 30th pick of the draft and the 28th pick of the draft. And, so
we haven't hit on those guys either. And that's the thing. Like a T.J. McConnell, who I think was a second-round pick for the Pacers. He started.
He was undrafted for the 76ers.
Philly,
undrafted to the 76ers. Yeah.
Yeah,
be able to get him. So I'm saying, and somehow building the roster around it where you got a lot of role players that can contribute. The Bucks just don't seem to have that.
I'll take the GM that won a championship over the one that's had a better track record of drafting late into the draft. But we got to get to our picks because we've got an NBA Finals to pick right now. I think I was the only one that picked the Indiana Pacers to make the NBA Finals, and I picked them in 6 games.
You did, in fact, as the rest of us picked the Knicks. I picked them in 7. Alex and Kyle picked them in 6.
Woof.
All of us picked the Thunder to advance to the finals, but none of us picked them to do it in 5 games. So you look up at the scoreboard, you see Greg Scalzo with 13, Kyle Wallace 15, Alex Strouf 15, and I have 15.
Oh, boy.
So Greg has cut the margin all the way down to only 2 behind the rest of the pack as we go into both the NBA and NHL Stanley Cup Finals, which we need to select.
All right, let's start with the NBA Finals. I can kick it off just to, give you guys all a greater advantage there. I will take the Thunder in 5 games in the NBA Finals.
I agree with Greg. It's Thunder in 5.
I'm taking Thunder in 6.
Yeah, I mean, being there last night, I turned to Harper and I said, the Thunder are going to beat them in 5 games. I guess I have to stick with that. I would almost want to go to 6 just so then I could go and watch the Pacers fans. Well, no, I guess Game 5 would be. It's 2-3-2 in the finals. Yep, I'm sticking with it. So it is, in fact, Thunder in 5. But remember, that means the Thunder have to win 2 games, 2 out of 3 in Indiana to be able to beat Thunder in 5 based on the 2-3-2 in the finals, right? No, they switched it to 2-2-1-1-1.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
All right. Yeah. That's not the old school 2-3-2. So, yeah, then it really fits out. I have the Thunder in 5, and I hate to agree with everyone, or at least 2 of you, but I'll go Thunder in 5.
And when it comes to the Stanley Cup...
So you guys don't think the Pacers...
Go ahead, Kyle.
I was going to say, you guys don't think the Pacers can sneak one out and do what they've done, come back and beat them, and then just win another game? You don't think they can get 2?
The Thunder have played less. The Thunder have played less close games than anyone in the league, which gives the Pacers an advantage there. And the Thunder also don't have great ball handling. Like, they don't have a true point guard. when you think about it. And Indiana does such a great job of putting ball pressure. And you look at how Minnesota blew out the Thunder in Game 3, and really all 3 Game 3s, the Thunder have not played well. So I think the Pacers definitely win Game 3. And then it's just a matter of, did the Pacers have one other really hot shooting game in there? I could see that happening, but I don't see them bringing it 7. So that's why I think it becomes 5 or 6.
According to Vegas,
the Nuggets took them to the brink.
That is
true. But they don't have someone like Jokic. I mean, the Thunder defense is so good, and Jokic is able to see over it, and his pinpoint passing is able to somewhat neutralize that defense. As accurate a passer and as good a controlling the offense as Halliburton is, I think he doesn't have the size that Jokic has that I think was uniquely built to work against that Thunder defense.
According to Vegas, the most likely series result would be Thunder in 5, followed by Thunder in 4 before you get to Thunder in 6, to give you how much Vegas is favoring the Oklahoma City Thunder.
How much money would I get if I do Thunder in 6? How much money would I get?
I've got that at plus 450, meaning that if you were to bet $1, you would make $4.50.
They've lost 6 games at home all year. 6.
You gonna go to Potawatomi, Kyle, and try that out? A little Thunder in 6 at Potawatomi?
Yeah, that's something I might try to do.
It's also a good opportunity for you to take the lead in our overall game. Let's get to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Wait. But real quick, I mean, Danny thinks because it's pretty disrespectful, right, to the Pacers, who were not given a chance against the Cavs and were underdogs against the Knicks. Minus 750, and these odds. I know we all just picked them to lose in 5 or 6, but that's pretty disrespectful to a team that's put together last year a run to the Eastern Conference Finals, and now this year run to the NBA Finals, right?
It is, and over the past 50 years, you only had 2 teams that were at least plus 200 underdogs, so that we're getting this disrespected. To start the NBA Finals, it was the 03-04 Pistons that were plus 500, and the 18-19 Raptors at plus 230, and both of them ended up winning the NBA Finals. So if you do look at those big dogs heading into the NBA Finals, the only 2 times it's happened over the last 50 years, they ended up winning and proving everybody wrong. So, yes, it is disrespectful, and that stat made me want to go with the Pacers, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. You said it, Craig. What did you say? 9 teams could be as good as the in the West as the 3 teams at the top of the East next year. That's
and even the Pacers just had to come through a much more grueling series than the Thunder, even to get to the finals. And the Thunder have been sitting back now for a few days, and both teams are so deep. I think the Thunder's depth has probably been more consistent than the Pacers' depth, although both teams are deep. Strouf, you said it. I don't see them losing a home game, and I can see them, winning a game on the road. So then that puts them winning in 5.
Are we ready to go into the Stanley Cup Finals?
Give me the Oilers in 6.
Wow, Oilers in 6 for Craig Karmazin.
That was quick.
The last time a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup was, Strouf?
A long time ago.
1993.
Nailed it, Kyle. Yeah. Well done. Montreal Canadiens.
32 years ago, that is?
That is right, yes.
I'm a math guy, Greg. I don't know if you know that about me.
Well done.
Big year for Canada. They win the World Classic or whatever that was called in Canada. Now they get a Stanley Cup.
I definitely knew that first part.
How impressive about the Florida Panthers going back-to-back, though? That would be impressive.
Are you going to pick it?
No, I'm going with Connor McDavid. I'm not going to lie. I don't watch hockey like that. So, I'm going to go with the best player in the world, Connor McDavid.
I thought Kyle would go with the USA there. I'm surprised.
I will go with
the Florida Panthers are the reigning.
I will go with the USA. I will take the Florida Panthers in 7, and I do think hockey's one of those weird sports where once in a while you can get the Conn Smythe to go to the player on the losing team. I do think it's possible that goes to Connor McDavid, and the Florida Panthers still win the Stanley Cup Finals. McDavid is that good, but I will take the Panthers in 7 games.
That's analysis, baby. I don't have any. Give me the Oilers in 7.
There it is. I'm on an island once again.
I need to say how many, huh? I need to say how many they win in.
That's how this game works, yes.
Oilers and
remember, it's out of 9 this year, Kyle. Remember, it's out of 9 this year, Kyle.
Now you're just making stuff up.
No, it's out of 9. He's being serious.
He's looking it up right now.
Are you kidding me? No, the Stanley
Cup Finals out of 9
you
games.
guys are making it up.
Craig's definitely not making that up. This is totally not a joke at your expense.
No. There's no way. There's no way.
Did you pick it?
You going in 8 or what are you going in? How many games?
I'm going in 6.
Okay.
All right.
So shorter series. You think they get it done 5-1?
Wow.
Yeah, you guys think I'm stupid, huh?
No, I just thought you were that hungover. No, it is still a 7-game series.
I'm not hungover at all.
Slow this morning.
I'm in Madison. I gotta wait my turn.
What time did you get home last night, Kyle?
I got home at 11 o'clock last night.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not hungover at all. Wooly can tell. He can attest to this. I'm in great shape. Am I not, Wooly? I called you and I text y'all earlier this morning to let you know topics, and I talked to Wooly. Wooly, am I in great shape or not?
You were the one to text me first this morning, Kyle. Hey, Strouf. How's it going?
Good, man.
See?
Good to hear
I'm great.
Thanks, Craig. Enjoy the rest of your drive.
All right, thanks, guys.
Craig Karmazin on his way back to Milwaukee. I said I wasn't going to do it, and I did. We're going to probably end up having to work things around this morning as we went. Went late there with
shows
Craig.
Up and the clock goes to cahoots, huh?
Yeah, well, you were talking all tough to start the show. You didn't say anything to Craig about not being here.
Yeah, that was interesting. He just opted out of the trash talk.
Whoa. We can call Craig back, and I'll call him out now. I didn't get an opportunity to do it.
I need to tee you up for
as
it
soon
now?
as he runs away.
Yeah.
Mr. Tough Guy.
No, we could call. We could call Craig back if we want to. I'm sure he's happy. I was thinking in my head when he got off, I said, boy, oh boy, what a long drive. I wanted to say something, but I didn't want to throw us off.
All right. Well, we'll be back. We'll turn our attention to the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah.
Big 6-game winning streak right now. They get some reinforcements with Jose Quintana back today, getting healthier by the minute. We'll hit that next. Sunday Karma across ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. The 2015 Wisconsin men's hoops team gave us all a march to remember.
There will be no undefeated champion on Wisconsin with an unbelievable stretch drive to the championship game.
On June 26th, enjoy an intimate celebration with the stars of the run with Made 'em Believe. Presented by M3 Insurance. World-class expertise and individual attention. Tickets are on sale now at uwhoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe, June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
Every so often in medicine, something comes along that is truly revolutionary.
Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, former orthopedic surgeon, now National Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
I believe this is one of those things.
Dr. Scheinkup is talking about regenerative medicine, something he's practiced, researched, and written about for nearly 2 decades.
The old ways of dealing with joint pain, such as steroids and surgery, are no longer the best ways.
If you have pain from arthritis or injury, you owe it to yourself to learn more about this exciting option, using your own body's natural power to get lasting relief. And there's no better place to learn than QC Kinetics.
There is no one in this country today with more clinics, more satisfied patients, more advanced protocols, or more experience in using this exciting option to deliver life-changing results.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Monica, we've got to hand it to you.
You and the design team have outdone yourselves.
Are you talking about the One collection?
Those rings say you are the one.
And they say it symbolically.
Describe the symbols.
Every ring in the One collection should be presented with a special ritual.
What would that ritual be?
You pick up her left hand and you place a kiss on her ring finger.
Rick, you never told me about that part.
Then you show her the tiny red diamond, flush mounted inside the ring, that will forever be in contact with her finger.
Why is it red?
Because that's when the giver says to the one, wherever you go, my heart goes with you.
I give you this kiss. I give you my heart.
The red diamond is a secret symbol of that sacred moment.
The center diamond on the outside of the ring is for the whole world to see.
But the tiny red created diamond inside the ring is only for the two of them.
The One collection of engagement rings is available exclusively at Kessler's.
To find the Kesslers nearest you,
Visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. Go behind the scenes of the Emmy-nominated Giannis documentary. Get the real story of the blockbuster trade for Damian Lillard. Hear the origin of Bucks in 6. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Hey, it's Brad Nortman, and I've got to tell you about my go-to car wash, Tsunami Express. Get your ride looking its best and ride the wave at Tsunami Express Car Wash, Milwaukee's fan favorite for that perfect shine. Sign up for a monthly membership and enjoy unlimited washes for less than $1 a day. Skip the wait with the fast lane and take advantage of great perks. With locations in Midtown Milwaukee, Waukesha, Greenfield, Oak Creek, and Mount Pleasant, Tsunami Express has you covered. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Visit TsunamiExpress.com to learn more.
At Citizens Bank, community banking is you, growing your business with a partner who gets it. It's you, buying your first home with a lender who makes it easy. It's you, building a future with savings that work just as hard as you. And it's us, working together to strengthen our community. Because at Citizens Bank, community banking means you plus us. Visit us at citizensbankwi.bank. Citizens Bank is member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video. Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Went by the watch with a whole lot of diamonds to show how these my time. Took a trip out to Cali to hang with the cliques, make a play and get high off that Zaza. I say R.I.P. Kobe, a nigga so fly when I ball out, where I skydive. So much chicken on me, could've went by the Williams, the Rudy's, a big Popeye. In a whole different bracket, this like
Sunday Karma
you know that I'm Texas.
Across ESPN Wisconsin. Big thanks to Craig Karmazin for joining us. Following his attendance of both Game 5 and Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Now Pacers, Oklahoma City Thunder make up the NBA Finals. I'm Greg Scalzo, hanging out with Alex Strouf here. We've got Kyle Wallace digging the music you're bringing to the table now, Strouf, as he's hanging out at the Everlight Solar Studios.
I'm a good producer.
You're a good producer. ESPN Madison.
Hour one was trash. The music was trash. There was the last song you played, I think, with Jason. I'm like, goodness gracious.
That was a Wildy request in my defense.
That's a Wildy request, and that's like one of Ben's favorite artists, too. That's a Ben Rector song. So that's a Ben Bruss, Jason Wildy special.
You're a good producer.
Yeah, I don't ask him for requests. You were playing a song about, like, daughters or something like that. What
that was a Wildy request. Why, I don't have a daughter. Unless you consider Patricia the dog my daughter, but...
No, I don't. I'm not a fan of people who believe their pets are their children. It's actually very annoying. I had to. Never mind.
No, I want to hear the rest of that thought. I want to hear the rest of that thought.
No,
please continue.
No. Nope. Lips is sealed. I'm staying out of trouble. Lips are sealed.
What's going on with you today?
Nothing is coming out of my mouth.
You've got some weird energy over there in Madison.
He doesn't like being in the studio by himself with the delay. Yeah, I can tell.
And he doesn't want to get in trouble?
I had to catch myself. Yeah, I catch myself. We have a lot of great fans in the Madison area. Shout out to all the great fans.
It's not about baby girls. It's about baby girls' friends.
Days. No, not at all.
I love my girl, but I ain't spending $3 on her.
It's about not having to say everything that comes to my mind.
When did you get good at this?
I'm practicing keeping my peace.
Since when?
I'm being more mindful.
This week talking about your gentleman's club chicken marsala. I imagine
that sounds so gross.
That sounds so bring you a ton of peace.
Well, I'm a changed man. From Tuesday to Sunday, I'm a changed man. Sunday's the Lord's Day, and I feel changed.
Something happened at that wedding last night, and I need to know what it is. I want my Kyle Wallace
The wedding
back.
was
Not
phenomenal.
my Kyle.
No. The wedding was wonderful, and shout out to KBN Nation, who I met yesterday at the wedding. Shout out
KBN
Tyler
Nation?
from Sun Prairie. Wally must know Tyler in Sun Prairie. He's nodded his head.
We got a few Tylers in Sun Prairie here in the Madison area. We got Tier 1 Tyler, Jesse's friend, who he tiers into lists. I think he's in Tier 2 or 1.
No, he's Tier 1.
And then there's another Tyler from Sun Prairie.
Oh, this Tyler.
Tier 1?
This Tyler from Sun Prairie, he's Tier 1 for me. Shout out to him. He can cook, too. So
I'm worried about Kyle.
Why are you worried about Kyle?
Because
Don't be
he's
worried
not being
about
himself today.
He's saying he's a changed man. He's hoping he's changed for the better.
You and I both know that's garbage. That's a load of crap.
Well, we'll see what he's like on KBN this week.
He's holding back. He's holding back on Sunday Karma, which he never does.
If I think what he's holding back, I actually very much understand it. I'm going to text him on the side and see if that's where he was going with it. Because there's one thing that I could look at and be like, I kind of understand why he pulled up on that one. But maybe that's not what he was pulling up on. We talk about
Text
Kyle
on the side.
We talk about Kyle being a changed man. This Milwaukee Brewers team is a changed team.
God, you're good.
As they've got 6 wins in a row, and the offense has come alive. Christian Yelich is hitting. Jackson Chourio yesterday went 4 or 5 with 5 RBIs. Rhys Hoskins had 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. They beat the Phillies 17-7. They swept the Red Sox at home earlier this week. But I'm more excited about what they've been able to do against this Phillies team, because this Brewers team's going to have to beat good teams in order to win the division. And we talked earlier this year when they were so beat up about the Brewers really needing to win the division to get to the playoffs, but also just needing to keep their head above water until they get healthy. And now all of a sudden, they're going to start to get healthy. Jose Quintana returns from the IL today. He'll take on the Phillies. Much needed help with their starting pitching there as they get the lefty back to take on Philadelphia team. That first pitch at 12:35. You can tune into that on ESPN Madison as soon as we wrap up here. Of course, 620 WTMJ in Milwaukee and WBEV in Beaver Dam. But how confident, Strouf, are you in this Brewers team to be able to keep this momentum going? Because it really does feel like they've turned a corner, especially with Yelich hitting the way that he is. Sal Frelick is getting, continues to be hot and inconsistent there. But Jackson Chourio, another one that really felt like he needed this run that he's had recently.
Yeah, a lot could change in a week, Greg, right? Kyle can go from being a loudmouth to somebody that's choosing his piece. Jackson Chourio can go from somebody that never walks to somebody that's walked quite a few times since Homer suggested that they should trade him.
4 times at least.
And the Brewers have won 6 games in a row. A lot can change in a week. All of a sudden, I was feeling down. I was like, this might be kind of a long season. They're never really going to have first place in their sights in the NL Central. And as you mentioned, that's going to be their only path to the postseason this year. Then all of a sudden, they finally get that elusive sweep that they've been searching for all season against the Red Sox, and today they have the opportunity to get 2 in a row and make that win streak 7. The bats have been hot. Talk about not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 10, not 12, not 15. 17 runs last night.
That was big.
That's an exciting game of baseball right there. You're talking about America's pastime dying? Show me 17 runs by the Brewers. I'll watch that each and every single day. Yeah, look, Quintana back today. It's good. You're waiting on Woodruff yet, who continues to make his rounds in minor league rehab starts. This is what you need. But to get the bats moving the way they are as we enter the month of June, that's such a huge sign of things to come. Because I think when you know what your shortcomings are as a baseball team, which this team, it is the bullpen, if you're able to make up for it by getting Christian Yelich back to form, by getting Contreras back to form, by Sal Frelick actually living up to the preseason and spring training hype of, he's added muscle mass, he's been hitting the ball better. And he certainly has. He's hitting over 400 the last 2 weeks plus. This is the turnaround we needed, and I am optimistic after being very pessimistic a week ago.
I mean, Yelich over the last...
Oh, what a surprise. Strouf being pessimistic about his sports teams. Wow, what a surprise.
You're the pessimist today, Kyle. You're the one going all about, talking smack.
You're
all
trashing a general manager that won a title. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what have you done for me lately? That's what I'm about.
It was 4 years ago.
Then Goody should have been fired, 3 days into his tenure.
You know, we're going to have a show topic tomorrow on Kyle Bruston Nortman about which general manager do you trust to win the next championship.
I like that.
We're going to have that topic, and I guarantee you more people are going to say Goody. The Packers are closer to a championship. More people are going to say Goody.
I would
with the Milwaukee.
I agree with you on that because when you look at the future,
okay.
it's
What are we talking about then?
Though? Like I hate to be that guy, but like we've been saying this about the Packers team for how long? Like in this century, they've been to one Super Bowl. In 25 years, they've been to one Super Bowl. You have over 20 NFL teams that have done that. You've had 13 teams that have been to multiple Super Bowls. The Packers are the only one of those teams to have 2 first-ballot Hall of Fame quarterbacks. And they've only been to one Super Bowl because of the way that they've operated. And they continue to operate in the exact same way. They got a logjam at wide receiver with a bunch of guys that don't produce a number 1 wide receiver. They've got a quarterback that I don't even think is the top 10 quarterback in the NFL right now.
Is logjam a compliment?
Do they have a number 1?
Disrespect.
What do you mean, the disrespect?
Oh, wait till y'all see Matthew Golden Boy. Wait till y'all see
I hope you're
Boy.
Right, but like I don't understand where all this optimism comes.
I'm gonna be right on this one.
I don't understand where all this optimism comes with the Green Bay Packers. Christian Yelich last 7 games, batting .433, slugging .967, 5 home runs. 12 RBIs. So that's really what you need if you are the Brewers is you need Yelich, you need Contreras, you need Jackson Chourio, you need Rhys Hoskins, you need Sal Frelick. And those bats are starting to come now.
Yeah, this is what we have to understand. The Brewers were 14-10 in the month of May. Do we realize they lost 5 games by 1 run? 5 games. I mean, so they were getting very close at it, and now they're finally winning some of these ball games. So I feel good about the Brewers because the reinforcements are going to come. And as Greg just said, if the bats start swinging, Christian Yelich playing better, what happened? Oh, the Brewers start winning baseball games. What a surprise. And so if the Brewers can get their main guys, the Jackson Chourio, you get a guy like a Christian Yelich, and if Rhys Hoskins continues to play like this, then the Brewers are for sure going to make the playoffs because he could be the guy. If you get 3 guys like that hitting the ball well, I feel good about the Brewers. But overall, the Brewers lost 5 games by 1 run in the month of May. So that just shows you that they have been a competitive baseball team throughout this entire season. So I feel really good that they're going to turn the corner once they get healthy as well. Brandon Woodruff, I believe, he's getting closer, isn't he? I know he had a couple of starts down with the Timber Rattlers, so I know he's getting a little bit closer here. So I feel good, fellas. I feel real good. D.L. Hall pitched pretty well as well when he started a couple days ago, 2 games ago. So I feel good.
And when it comes to supporting your local teams, nobody does it better than the team at Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Gruber Law Offices, they support the local teams because they are local, right? They've been here for decades. So when you need to make the call, when something happens in your life and you need help, trust the team that's been there for you, that's been there in this community, and that is the team at Gruber Law Offices. Their track record speaks for itself. The consistency speaks for itself. They are the team that you can trust when you need somebody that you can lean on because something happened in your life that you didn't want to happen, right? That you did not expect. You get into a car accident, something happens, you need to call somebody. Don't call somebody that's not here. Don't call somebody that you can't trust. Don't call somebody that maybe you see swoop in and swoop out. Call the team that has been here, supporting the community, supporting your favorite team, supporting you, supporting Milwaukee, supporting Madison, supporting Wisconsin, and that is the team at Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Gruber Law Offices. We'll make our Palermo's picks next. Sunday Karma across ESPN Wisconsin.
More Sunday Karma coming up on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Progressive Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance might be the easiest part of owning a home. Definitely easier than this.
Psst, honey. What? Shh, there's a salesman walking up the driveway.
Oh no, he's got a clipboard.
What do we do?
Get down.
Down?
On the floor, you...
Shoot, did he see us?
Why are you breathing so loud?
Home ownership isn't easy, but with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, shopping for home insurance is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
If you have a lot of shopping to do for summer, then you're actually in luck. Because at Macy's, the latest designer trends are here now. From swim and sandals to match sets and linen suits, all for 20% off. But get this, spend $100 and get 25% off. Spend $200 and get 30% off. 30%. So the bigger your summer, the better. Because the more you buy, the more you save. But hurry, it all ends Sunday at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion, or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Forget average. At Exterior Pros, they bring the heat. They're not here to meet standards. They're here to smash them. From the first swing of the hammer to the final reveal, they're leveling up your home with every window, every shingle, and every single detail. This isn't just a remodel. It's a glow up for your house. Built tough, built beautiful, built to turn heads. One in? Let's go. Lock in your project now and save $3,000. Exterior Pros, where bold meets built. Trust the pros and visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274.
Looking to transform your home with stylish furniture and home accessories without breaking the bank? At your local IKEA in Oak Creek, they believe everyone deserves a beautiful and affordable living experience that enhances your everyday life. From comfortable and fashionable sofas and sectionals, to kitchens full of inspiration, to bedrooms designed to help you find your best sleep and relaxation, IKEA's home furnishing combines form and function to fit any lifestyle and budget. Visit IKEA Oak Creek today or explore their collection online at ikea.com/US.
At Potawatomi, where ways to win are endless, another chance to capture epic cash and prizes comes Friday, June 27th. It's the season finale blockbuster drawings. Watch your entries from Enchanted Spins, Unreal Treasures, and Boundless Bounty come together for drawings where $300,000 in cash and prizes is there for the taking. Be there to win your share. June 27th only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info online. Must be 21 years old to play.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Make plans to stop by Third Ward Beer Garden at Catalano Square. Experience Milwaukee's favorite beer garden, the perfect spot to meet up with friends in the Third Ward. Open Wednesday through Sunday with live music Thursday through Saturday. Good times and great vibes await at Third Ward Beer Garden.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Station updates, show clips, and your place to interact with us every single day just by scrolling through your feed. Follow along on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at ESPN Milwaukee.
Sleeping pattern, cause how the I'm still up. Yeah, don't speak my language. Don't speak my language. Don't speak my language. Yeah, how the I'm still up. Yeah, don't speak my language.
Turn the mic on, Kyle.
Don't speak my language.
It's a delay, so it doesn't match up. That's what I've been told in the past.
Oh, you're right, because the video, I can see you afterwards. This is Sunday Karma across the ESPN with Scott and Greg Scalzo, Alex Strouf, Kyle Wallace with you. Calling, texting 800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776. The Carbless Talk and text line, list is more. Chef Ed chimed in earlier, said a bold prediction. Pacers in 7. Don't underestimate the Pacers. Tyler in Sun Prairie chimed in, said, I'm here to say my boy Kyle behaved himself last night. True ambassador to GKB. Also, baby girl does have some beautiful eyes. Can't lie, Strophy.
All right, Tyler.
See?
You
Told
had
you
me
I'm
with
not
the
creepy.
good ambassador, did? And now Tyler was looking my girl up and down last night, Tyler. I don't appreciate that. No, Tyler was fantastic, man. Shout out to Tyler. Shout out to the wedding yesterday, man. The wedding was fantastic. Great time. It was nice and easy and relaxing. Like, everybody wants to do this big and extravagant wedding, and yesterday was just a really good wedding, and I realized, like, if you're getting married and you're happy, it doesn't matter where you're doing that. It's having a good time with the people that you love. So I really enjoyed that and got some perspective yesterday.
That was beautiful. Kyle.
Changed man. It's a Sunday. Kyle Wallace is a changed man. Ryan upset with us on the
It's the Lord's Day.
On the Carbless Talking text line saying that we don't talk enough Brewers here across ESPN Wisconsin, but he sent it while we were talking about the Brewers. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the compulsion on that one. And before we get to our Palermo's picks, Strouf, why don't you tell us about our friends at Door County Distillery?
Yeah, I played good music in the second half of the show, so I'm going to celebrate with my friends at Door County Distillery. Locally produced, handcrafted, award-winning spirits made locally in beautiful Door County. In Carlsville, if you're heading up to Door County this summer, you got to stop in, do the tours, do the tastings, check out the exclusive product. And if you're not heading to Door County, bring Door County to you. Whether you're mixing up old fashions, the cherry brandy infused with local cherries from Door County, the single malt whiskey, which has won 27 national gold medals throughout the country, and all the in-betweens, brandies, gins, vodkas, rums, Door County Distillery has you covered. It's local, it's affordable, and it is award-winning. Check them out, doorcountydistillery.com. To find the retailer nearest you as well as a huge list of unique cocktail recipes. That's doorcountydistillery.com.
Let's get into our Palermo's picks presented by our friends at Palermo's. Find Palermo's, of course, at your local grocer's freezer. The Brewers take on the Phillies following this show. Again, you can check it out, WBEV in Beaver Dam, 100.5 ESPN Madison and Madison, of course, WTMJ 620 in Milwaukee. The Brewers, Phillies today. Quintana right now back from the IL, getting ready to take on Ranger Suarez. The line open, this is interesting, at the over-under, it's 6.5 runs. It is up to 8.5 runs, meaning that the Vegas Sportsbook is now giving some respect to the Brewers offense, which has been on fire, and yet the Brewers are still a plus 140 favorite on the money line. Phillies minus 165. Give me the Brewers. I expect them to continue to win today. I think that they win outright. I think they sweep the Phillies and get it to 7 straight wins in Philadelphia. Baseball is a momentum sport, and this team is hot right now. The bats are hot right now. They're feeling themselves. They're seeing the ball well in Philadelphia. I know they're taking on a lefty, but I see them playing well here today and taking it to the Phillies to win 7 straight.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, I think the Brewers, I love my Brewers, but I don't see them winning today.
Really?
Oh, Kyle being pessimistic about his sports teams.
No, the Phillies are on a 3-game losing streak. They're not going to, after losing 17-7, I expect the Phillies to actually play well today. They got it. They're too good to go on a 4-game losing streak. So, hey, I want the Brewers to win. I'm just being realistic.
Watch out. William Contreras in his career is batting .421 with 3 home runs and 6 RBIs off of only 19 at-bats against Ranger Suarez. He's batting number 2 in the lineup today. Brewers come up next to Beaver Dam and in Madison. Check it out, 620 WTMJ here in Milwaukee. Of course, ESPN Radio up next on ESPN Milwaukee. We'll see you next week, Kyle.
Peace out.
All day, every day. The Carbless Talk